Hello, Paul Bonner here. Welcome to Copenaghen, Denmark. Come with me on a little tour of my studio cellar. I hope you enjoy it, seeing what I'm up to. So, this is where I spend most of my time, sitting on my bum, surrounded by the tools of the trade. It tends to start off with pencils and frantic scribbling on paper, trying to get the ideas out of my head onto paper before they run off or try to get shoved out of the way by better ideas. The paints I use are watercolour. That I've done since I was a child and never really found the need to change, as they help me find the language that I need. And digital, never really gone near. It doesn't say anything to me, and I'm way too old to get involved in that now. So I'm happy there with paints, the brushes and the imagination, and mostly it's the hours sitting here that get things done. I do actually get some exercise, but sadly it only really involves me walking over to this thing, this huge old light box where I do really important work of most of my drawing and juggling all the figures around on the paper to make sense and have them look good in relation to each other. At the moment I'm trying to position some dwarfs on a big painting I'm doing for Trudvang, the Riot Minds, a Swedish company. Very complicated drawing, and I need the light box instead of again going digital. Yeah, over the years I've quite happily and willfully managed to paint myself into a corner where I only ever really get asked to paint dwarfs, goblins, trolls, mostly things with big noses, and that suits me fine. It hasn't always been that way. A lot of the time I could only do black and white work. 3 years at Games Workshop where I was very frustrated, but it was a fantastic learning curve, because doing black and white you can't hide anything like you can with colour. Everything's there naked to see. So even though in the end it was too frustrating, it was a really good time. And now I'm still painting the same things, but just in glorious Technicolor. And I'm happy painting the same things, and hopefully people will never ask me to paint anything else. I'd probably say no anyway. A large part of my childhood was spent playing with toy soldiers, mostly medieval knights, which I enjoyed setting up and looking at with my face pressed to the carpet, looking at them to making the most dynamic scenes. I never played any complicated war games. It was just fun creating the little worlds for them. And as you can see, now I can still do it. I still be able to dip into my childhood and play with little soldiers. I just love painting them and setting them up in little scenarios and imagining that I was there amongst them with some serious armour on and a big stone to hide behind, of course. I wish I could spend more time doing it, but sadly the paid work and my other loves also pushed them aside. But I do enjoy it, and it's a direct connection to the inspirations of my childhood. Over the years, well, right from childhood, I had many influences and inspirations. Influences is difficult to spot, really. That's probably more easy for people looking at pictures to see, but inspirations, they're more obvious, and they go right back from childhood, being dragged around mountains of forest by my parents, and lots of books on fairy tales and fairy stories. So nature, especially nature, that's always played a very big part in my inspiration, more so as I've got older. I find my fantasy needs a reality as a backdrop to make it more believable, so having a fantastic and beautiful or dramatic setting has become very important. So yeah, that's a good excuse to buy lots of beautiful books on nature photography. Lots of different artists, an early memory of John Bauer. Loved that. Swedish trolls in the dark forests creeping around. Arthur Rackham, Frazetta, of course, Conan, so many different things. Too many to mention, really, and they all go into the melting pot that hopefully comes out in a language of my own. So, thanks very much for enjoying me on that little tour. I hope you did enjoy it. Thirsty work, eh? So come with me. I think we deserve a drink in my local pub. What would you like? A pilsner or maybe a nice ale? Yeah, as an artist, free time is a very tricky thing, because even when technically a deadline's been reached and we have free time, there's always a huge queue of ideas and inspirations pushing each other and demanding to get on the drawing board and be painted. But when all my duties are done, I think, it's just winding down with family. I have a dog, Baldur, I have to walk him, a good book, good film, a bit of peace and quiet. It's good enough for me. I don't have time for that much else, but if I'm out in nature, a good walk in a dark forest is fine, but sadly there's not any that close to here, but I do what I can. Salute! As an artist, we're privileged and lucky to be able to live inside the worlds in our own head and don't often have to come out and live in the real world. But being invited to Lucca as a guest of honor with an exhibition is this huge reminder of the world out there and the impression and effect you make on people that actually see your work. When I'm sitting in front of a painting and painting it, I'm just concentrating on making it as good as I can. I'm not thinking about who's going to see it. So it's just a wonderful reminder that people do see it and love what I do, and to be asked to come to Lucca again, this time with an exhibition, first one ever, is just such a wonderful honor, and I'm so proud to be a part of it and be able to share it with all you people that have been such a big help to me. So thank you very much for that. I'm very thankful, and thankful for Lucca and the organizers and everyone involved for inviting me there. I'll see you there. See you in Lucca. Salute!